Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kat Beasley and I'm here with another video. And this one's gonna be on my transformation. Yes, I lost a little bit of fat. Yes, I toned up a little bit. But the biggest transformation for me was my mindset from then till now. And even way further back than that, but I feel like that's the only bikini photo that I have to show you. So that's the one that I went with. That was about 2 years ago. That was when I was in Miami. So most recently have found that I've had the biggest results with my body changing, like toning and building muscle. That's been in the past 6 months. I really subtly started to notice that my body was toning up and that I was building muscle. From then to now, I feel like my mindset has changed so much. So I've given 5 tips on how you can get started with your journey on your transformation to whatever your goals are, to be healthier, to feel better, to change your body. The first tip that I have is educate yourself on nutrition, because for me, I was having issues with like my skin. That's the main reason why I went to a nutritionist, and she really educated me on just like processed foods, additives, like sneaky little additives that we can totally overlook sometimes. Like for example, natural flavor. Seems harmless, right? I thought it was like natural lime flavor, natural whatever flavor, and it seems harmless, but it's really not, because I found out that in order to give you every single ingredient that is involved in making a natural flavor, there's over 150 ingredients in natural flavoring. But they can't put it on the ingredients list because there's no room. So they just mask it under natural flavoring. And I know it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but little things like that can really add up and start to decline how you feel every day, which is a huge part of life. Like we want to feel full of energy and feeling good. So little things like that, she pointed out to me. Additives in my supplements that I was taking, like an iron supplement, the ingredients were terrible. Like yes, there was iron, but then there were all these like additives and fillers and like these terrible ingredients that she was basically like, throw it in the bin. And it's such a waste of money, but it's so not worth putting things like that in your body. So really educate yourself. You can talk to a nutritionist. That's what I did. You can also educate yourself. Google will tell you everything that you need to know. I just found it good to sit down and have a couple of consultations with my nutritionist. She really tailored a diet to, I don't want to say diet because it wasn't necessarily a diet. It was like pointing out things that I could like swap out of my diet to make myself feel better. Things that spike your insulin, like sugar. I really learned a lot about that as well. I feel like you can go to the extreme and cut like everything out, and that's what I did, and I had good results. But from where I was then to where I am now, I feel like I have found such a great balance of everything, because I know what makes me feel good and what makes me feel not so good. So I steer away from those things. I think that's the key, really finding out what feels good for you when you eat. Which brings me to my next tip. Find out what your food sensitivities are. Some people are like gluten intolerant or like dairy intolerant, and sometimes it's so subtle you don't really even notice it. Like I have a little bit of dairy here and there and a little bit of gluten here and there, because sometimes it's unavoidable, and I don't get like a celiac reaction or someone who is allergic to gluten or dairy. I do not get that reaction, but I find that if I have a little bit, I don't really notice it. But I found out the other day pretty quickly that I really shouldn't be eating dairy, and you know, things like headaches and like upset stomach and like gassy, like things like that. It's just not fun. And if it can be avoided, then I would prefer to cut that out of my diet than be suffering for no reason, because there's so many alternatives. There's beautiful like oat milks and almond milks and vegan cheeses if you're into that sort of thing. But again, I would encourage you to look at the ingredients, because sometimes it's, you know, oat milk or vegan cheese and you look on the back and there's all these hidden like ingredients, like all the numbers and the thickeners and fillers and things like that. I would totally recommend to make your own milk if you struggle to find a good one. It's so easy. It's literally almonds, like you can do hemp, you can do coconut, you can do oat, and you're just blending with water and a pinch of salt and whatever your sweetener is, like dates or whatever, and then you blend it and then you just put it through a nut bag and just strain it through, and voila, you've got milk. And I usually halve the batch and put some in the freezer because it only lasts like 4 days. But if you had like enough out for your tea and like your cereal and things like that, when it starts to get low, you just take out another portion from the freezer, and it literally takes me 10 minutes to make. Almonds, you do have to soak them overnight, but things like hemp seeds, you can just put them straight in and blend them. Coconut milk, you can just buy cans of it, like the good organic cans, and then you literally just mix it with water and blend it so that all the bits kind of go out of it, and you don't have to strain it. Like you can just, you're really just watering it down so you get not so thick coconut cream. But anyway, there are alternatives to things that don't make you feel good, and there are options. You can make stuff. Like I love jam. I love peanut butter on toast with jam, PB&J, baby. And I discovered it when I moved here to Canada. My boyfriend was putting peanut butter and jam together, and I was like, oh, peanut butter and jelly, like I've never tried that before. Holy moly, it is so good. I just couldn't really find a jam that I loved that wasn't like $5, like $5 or $6 for a tiny jar of it. I've been making my own jam, and holy moly, it's easy. It literally is just whatever your fruit is, with a couple of tablespoons of water, boil it. I think there's some lemon juice in there too, 15 minutes, and just stirring it. And then it says to put like xanthan gum in, but that's not a good ingredient, it's a thickener. So I put chia instead, and the chia just helps to thicken it up. If you've got gelatin in the cupboard, you can sprinkle some of that in too, because while it's hot, and that will just give it a nice jelly, thick consistency. But yeah, my point is, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on good, nutritious food, and you can find alternatives to the things that don't make you feel so good. My next point is find a form of fitness that you love. For me, I love lifting weights. I always have. I've been on and off with fitness for about 10 years. This is the longest stint that I've had, probably for the last like 3 years. I have been so consistent with it. I've just fallen in love with it more and more. Like, yes, I go through stages where I just need like a week off, and I think that is crucial to your progression, to take that rest when you feel you need it and don't push through. If you're pushing through, you're just going to be putting a half-hearted effort in. When you stop and take that rest, like even just a week or 2 weeks, reset, you give your muscles a break, you know, you give yourself a nice little reset, and then you raring to go. Like, that's what I found, to really listen to my body and take that rest when I feel like I need it. But for me, I really love lifting weights and a little bit of cardio here and there. Every now and again, I do like a HIIT session. I don't love HIIT all the time, but sometimes when I feel like it and I get up and do a HIIT session, whew, feel on fire and ready to attack the day. Get those endorphins moving. I never regret it when I work out. And like even yesterday I was feeling a bit down, and my boyfriend was like, well, don't work out, like just have a rest. And I was like, no, it makes me feel good. I need to work out. And I do. I just feel amazing. I get a sweat on, I get the endorphins moving, and I just feel like it's just my little like therapy and like reset. But you need to find the form of fitness that you love, because not everyone's gonna love lifting weights. You know, even if it's like a low impact workout like yoga or Pilates or walking, if that's what you love doing, then, and you find it hard to start a new habit, I would suggest to commit to doing that every day for like 30 days. Say you want to start walking more. I started doing like 30 minutes every day, no matter what, even on a rest day, because walking is so good for you. It's like a low intensity form of fitness. It just gets things moving, makes you feel good, and gets you out of the house sometimes when you're feeling a little bit down, or like, you know, even when you feel busy, it's just like good to just go out and just put your shoes on, go out and go for a half an hour walk. Do that every day for 30 days. Implement something else in, like if you've been wanting to drink a bit more water, then commit to maybe drinking 2 liters of water a day, and do that every day for 30 days. And that's just gonna help you start that habit, and it just becomes part of your life. You no longer have to think about it because it's just what you do. I think fitness is going that way now, which I really love, in that direction of holistic, like mind, body, and soul. Take your rest days when you need it. Eat nutritional food. It's not just about macros like protein, carbs, and fat, because you could be hitting your macros on your and tracking your macros and hitting those macros, but your app that's tracking your macros is just saying, yes, you had 30 grams of fat, yes, you had 20 grams of carbs, yes, you had 20 grams of fat, but what's your source of fat? Is it giving you micronutrients as well as macronutrients? So that is why, going back to step 1, tip number 1, do your research, find out what is good for the body. Where is your source of fat coming from? Where is your source of carbs coming from? And where is your source of protein coming from? That's all I'm saying, because there's healthier ways to source these macros without just trying to hit those macros on your MyFitnessPal app. And I just found it quite stressful. You're trying to tweak everything to get all of your macros in. It just didn't work for me, especially coming from a restricting mindset. I found that I would turn to like food and dieting when I felt like I was losing control over my life. Like if I put weight on, that scared me, so I would go on a diet. And then being on the diet would stress me out, and like tracking my macros would stress me out. So it's just a vicious cycle. I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. I just really admired people who ate intuitively, and I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So I did it. I eat intuitively, I train intuitively, I do everything intuitively, because that's what we're born to do. I just feel like somewhere along the line, we see other people doing things a certain way and looking a certain way, and we're comparing ourselves to those people, but no one is you. Like, I've always wanted that kind of petite little body, but the thing is, it's not me. I'm 5'9", I'm tall, I'm thin, like that's never gonna happen. The funniest thing is, when I let go of all of that control and worry and pressure that I put on myself to become this person that I'm not, I stepped back from all of that. I'm the happiest I've ever been with my body. I've toned my tummy, my butt's a bit bigger. I actually have boobs for the first time ever, because I've allowed myself to eat intuitively. And it does take a while to get to that point, because going from dieting to eating intuitively, it's like, am I hungry, or am I just reaching for this because I want it? And I think a big part of it is emotional eating as well. It's like there's a massive emotional side to overeating. So that was something that I had to look at as well. And it took a lot for me to do that. That brings me to, where are we? Mindset and well-being. It really starts with that. I know that's my 4th tip on the list, but I really had to step away from all of these pressures and diets and all these, things I was putting on myself. I remember when I went to Miami, and I was in this photo in my thumbnail. I remember I had myself on a pretty crazy diet. I was counting my macros, I was making sure I was eating protein, carbs, and fat, and you know, you do that little like cut before the holiday, and it's just like, because of course you get on holiday and what do you want to do? Well, I know what I want to do. I want to eat. You know, you get yourself all whacked up and you've been on this diet, and then as soon as you start eating, you're going to put all the weight back on, and then that's not great for your mental state. Well, it's not great for my mental state, but I just really had to step away from all of that. I had to see how that was going to make me feel, and I knew that it was going to bring up some stuff for me. So I really had to have a chat with myself and just say, look, this is what I want. I want to step away from all of these pressures and these diets, and I want to eat intuitively. It's probably going to be a bit of a work in progress, but I'm okay with it. If I put weight on, I'm still going to love myself. It's for your health and your well-being, because stress is not good for you. When you're stressing about your weight and constantly thinking that your body should be something that it's not, letting go of that stress and just accepting yourself for who you are and what you look like, and it just takes so much pressure off, which, you know, it's just made me so much happier because it's one less thing that I have to stress about. Well, I don't really stress about much, but it really did take a whole heap of weight off my shoulders. Which brings me to tip number 5, self-love. I have committed myself to every day giving myself love and attention that I need. And that might be having a rest day. That might be going for a walk, journaling, meditating, having that section of time carved out of your day to commit to yourself. It might be to wash your hair, do a face mask, call your best friend, have a glass of wine, whatever makes you feel good and whatever makes yourself feel loved. I love daily affirmations. I've done quite a few videos on those. If you want to start doing a daily affirmation, I will link the video down below, but it's a really, really nice way just to have a minute to yourself, just to choose yourself and just be like, hey girl, I got you. I would never go back to the way that I was, because I just feel so happy within myself and so happy with my body. Me and fitness were like this, and I love food and everything about it. My camera's about to die, so I just need to... Hey friends, so my battery died on my camera, and when I finished filming the video, I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I've got loads of footage. But just watching it back and editing it, I didn't actually conclude the video. So here I am. It's been quite a while since I filmed that video, and to be honest, I was going to redo it, and then when I was going through editing it, I was like, this is good. I love this. So here's my conclusion to the video. I hope you picked up some tips to help you get on your intuitive journey, and I hope I can inspire you to get on that intuitive path. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, could you hit the thumbs up button for me and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.